Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of this tutorial from Walk in the Woods by Leila Duly, and I am going to do the chanterelle mushrooms here today to start with. We'll see how much we get done, how much time we have. Now if we look at these colours, they're beautiful, aren't they? We've got a sort of rich yellow and orange, almost reds. I thought we would start actually with our terracotta light. I'm leaving it there so you can just about see what I'm copying, although actually I'm probably going to come in closer to those mushrooms. So yes, I'm using my Castle Arts gold pencils, by the way. So there we go. It's going to be hard for you to see. So here's our photo. I'm going to have to not have it in shot. So here is the terracotta light. I'm going to put this all over our mushrooms to start with, and then see what we do with the colour as we go, because there's obviously a mix of different colours in these, but this is a base. I think is a good colour. We can just get it down. I am just keeping an eye on my phone, tablet. Been chatting to my son in between. He messaged me just after I finished the last video. He's struggling a bit with his work at uni. I think he had to leave the room and go and try and calm down. It's an assignment drop-in lesson, so they don't have to be there all the time, but he's worried that he can't do something. But luckily his dad knows how to do it, and his dad isn't in work tomorrow, so hopefully they'll be able to sit down, have a look at it together, and start making some progress with it. I think he said he had part of it working and then it stopped working, and he doesn't know what he's done wrong and things like that. So I think it just needs a bit more of a calm and methodical approach sometimes. You know, sometimes when we get ourselves into a panic, we can't always see what's going wrong, you know. So I've actually advised him to concentrate on something else, because he's got to write this project, which he's hardly started. But I said, you know, you need to put together a test schedule for it. It's a website, you need to test it. So I said you could do that now, even before you've written it, because you know what the spec is, what it's supposed to look like. So you could write that, and that might just take his mind off the sort of stress he's feeling. Now this is quite scruffy actually, but I'm going to tidy it up as I go. So I'm going to do these rather deep reddish colours now. I'm thinking the terracotta might be dark enough, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to give it a go. And what I observe in the picture is it seems to be quite random on the edges and middles, rather than not in the deep bits, but on the edges. So I'm just going to put some in, like here. Now this is a little bit too maybe brownish, orangish, oh, on the leaf, never mind. But I'm going to be going over it with another colour, I think, when I in a minute. So we'll just get some of this down. Some of the stalks have quite, or stems, have quite a dark bit on too. So we'll just do the top bits. I'm just doing it a bit randomly. It looks quite random in the picture. I don't know if I'm mistaken. No, it definitely looks quite random. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort of fade them off a bit though. I think like that. So we'll just do a few sections. I think maybe a little bit on the edge of that one, like that maybe. And then I'm going to have a look at the stem. I might do dark a bit on this one. And then maybe a few patches. Like that. I'm ignoring the fact that they're overlapping and there'd be shadows and things. We'll deal with all that after. We'll just get the colour down. Now I want something much brighter. Look at our picture, they're really quite bright. So I think I'm going to go for the brilliant yellow. Just finding it in my my pencil case. Here we go, brilliant yellow. And I'm going to put a layer over. I don't want to do it too hard. Now I find with yellow, because it isn't the brightest of colours, in the sense that it doesn't saturate in the same way as some colours, I always used to be very tempted to really push down hard when I was colouring with yellow, and I would end up flattening all the tooth in the paper, and then I couldn't do any more colour. So it would end up being just very flat, just all the same tone. Now I don't want that. I'm going to come back in with other colours after, so I need to keep it quite light. But you can see I've layered it up enough so that it looks bright, but not so much that I'm breaking down the paper, pushing into the paper too hard. And I'm going to do the same on all of them. And then we'll come in, we'll get some shadows going in a minute. But we'll get all these done first. Such a dreary day today. Had thunderstorms in the night, woke me up. I do enjoy a good thunderstorm, so I was fine with it. It doesn't scare me, so I was just listening to it rumble around. And apparently some local places, husband spoke to me actually. I had a meeting, that's right, at home before I went to work, and some of the people were saying they'd had really bad storms overnight. I think we escaped most of it. And I just didn't wake up, but I don't know. And so that was rumbling around, waking me up, woke me up quite early, but 5:30. I usually wake up at 6 anyway, so it wasn't too bad. And I was just listening to the rain battering on the window, thinking, oh, my poor family that have got to go out in it. But actually it's calmed down a little bit. I think my one son said it wasn't raining when he got to uni, so that was good. Okay, now we are going to go dark. I want to put in some shadows. I think warm brown. I'm thinking maybe the brown ochre could be a good choice. Just having a look for it. There we go. Brown ochre. And I'm going to go, you know, under here and in the depths of that part. So firstly under here, and this isn't very sharp, I'll try it. So under here, a bit of, there'd just be a shadow under there. But I'm thinking that each end of this stem, I'm going to put a little bit darker so that it helps it to look a little bit more rounded. There's a bit of shadow each side. It just helps with that illusion that is rounded. Yeah. And then, oh sorry, making it all blurred. In the centre here, what I've noticed in the picture is that these dots are brown, not black. I'm just going to write over them. And I'm going to put a little bit in there. Oh, I think there'll be some shadow deep inside. Like that. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a bit of shadow under here though. And like before, just on the edges of these stems. And there. And there. Like that, and then in here again a little bit. Like that. There we go. Okay, my eye is itching. I don't know why. I'm just gonna itch it. There we go. Oh, I don't think it's hay fever. I don't get hay fever very much. I used to think that I got it as a child, but I used to rub my eyes a lot and then they would itch and more, and I think I just used to irritate my eyes a little bit. But my son gets it. but it's raining today, so I shouldn't think the pollen count is particularly high. There we go. Now, I don't like these bits aren't looking as nice as I think they could be. I'm going to just, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to go back to my terracotta actually and put a little bit more on, but just try and blend it out a little bit better. Maybe I'm being a bit fussy. I just feel like here, for example, there's a bit of a harsh edge. There we go. And I want to finish with a final layer of the brilliant yellow. I want it to be even more bright. And now I've done all my shading, shadows and things, I can confidently put down a heavier layer by layering up more. You can see I'm going over and over to make it even brighter, because I know that I don't need to put any more colours on there that might impact it. Here, I sort of want it darker here on this edge than towards the centre to give it a little bit of shape, like that. I'm still going to put a little bit more on there, just layer it up more here. And then this one. Again, I might put a bit more on the edges, a bit less here. There. They're probably not quite as bright as the picture, but I'm quite pleased with them. Now, how long have we been? We haven't been that long, so we're going to do, I think we'll do a bit of greenery, because it'll be a bit different. We've done a lot of mushrooms, so let's come out a tad. Now we do have this elder, and the elder, I'm trying to work out which bits of the elder. I think they're just those. So I think these are just general leaves. So I am going to grab a pencil and just colour them. I'm going to grab the leaf green deep, if I can find it. There it is. I think this is quite a good colour for this one here. So I'm going to start with the stem and do that quite dark. We can't really do much shading on the stem because it's so narrow, but if we can do it first, then that's all good. I'm just going to move my piece of paper away so it's not under my elbow. Right. So let's start each leaf. Now I was observing leaves, and I'm not very good at making leaves look realistic. And I was observing them the other day when I was walking, and I just couldn't really work out what to do. You know, it's a bit tricky really. I think what I need to do is not only look at photos of leaves, which can be quite useful obviously. Here I'm trying to just layer up at the bottom and lighten it towards the tip. But I think I need to look at realistic coloured pencil pictures of leaves. That's another way that I learn. So not only by looking at real things and trying to copy them, it's not always that easy, but by looking at other people's work, because if they've used the same medium as you, then it makes it a little bit easier, I think, to learn. Something I did observe was when leaves were in front or behind each other, you had really obvious bits of shadow in black. So I was looking at a tulip actually, and of course all the leaves are sort of clustered together, aren't they? And some are behind and some are in front, the flowers in the middle. And the ones that were in front, you could see through the leaf and the shadow of the leaf behind, through the leaf, which was really interesting. I've never seen anyone colour one like that. But of course they're not always drawn like that. Like these, there's nothing behind them. obviously these are behind things, but so there isn't that opportunity to colour it in that way. But it was interesting. Of course, you would only also see it like that if the sun was shining through it, which it was. We don't get so many shadows if it's a dull day. So, you know, it depends. It's not always going to look like that. I'm trying to work out what that line is there. Ah, that's a bit of that. So this is just here. That's it. Yeah. Let's do this one, it's easier. Just keeping an eye on my tablet in case my son gets back to me. I've given him a few ideas of things he can do that might be a little bit easier and more calming. And I don't know if he's doing that or not. He's just in a panic that he just hasn't got time and he's never going to be able to do it. But hopefully he'll be okay. But I think it's because it's something he's learning that's completely new to him. And I found this too when I was at university. The assignments were not ever based on things that you'd done in class. They were something new. So you have to learn first. And when you're studying a subject where there isn't really a practical application, now this leaf here, I'm just looking to see, actually, this one here looks the same as the one we've just done, so we'll do that one next. When there isn't a practical application and you're just writing about someone's theory or whatever it is, which is what I tended to do, then it's quite quick. You can look up things and just write about it, you know. Whereas because he's actually got to produce something and then write about it, it's much, much harder. So and I think quite a few of the people in his class had done it before. So within a few weeks they had actually finished the work for the assignment, whereas he hadn't even started. I don't think that really helps your confidence, does it? Knowing that other people are finding it really easy when, you know. So that was, I think that was part of it too. I think this green is a rather good one to go with all our sort of earthy, mushroomy colours. I just fancied doing some green. There's a lot of green in this picture, so it's quite nice to do a little bit in the middle rather than doing it all at the end, or else it gets a little bit boring. Despite the fact that I like green, you know, sometimes it's nice to do a different colour. Sometimes I will do all the green the same colour in a picture, not in a picture like this. In a picture that is more fantasy rather than looking realistic, if that makes sense. So then I'll do a bit more, I might just do one green if I do lots of flowers or something, all different colours. But I think if we stick to these sorts of more earthy tones, for the ones that we don't know what they are, I'm wondering if this here is elder. But the elder seems to be drawn with lines here, so I don't know. One thing I notice a lot about leaves is that they're never perfect. Like these leaves, I've drawn no imperfections on them. But leaves normally have some. They might have a little bite taken out of them by some little critter, or they might have a little bit of dead on the end or something like that. I don't like drawing dead bits of dead on the ends of leaves. It's not particularly nice, but it happens. I mean, we all know that. So what I might do with these is just put a different colour on the tips. I find it can be quite nice. it just lifts it a little bit, makes it look a little bit more interesting. I mean, see, this one is drawn at a slope, so really this bit down here would be darker, as would this bit, and that would be lighter because it's closer to the light. We can do that a little bit, but I'm not going to worry too much about that sort of detail. I feel like the leaves are just framing the mushrooms, really. I don't know. But we've got these sort of earthy tones which we're going to continue with. So I am thinking I might use a brown for the tips, but a nice reddish brown. I was thinking the redwood might be a good choice. So what I'm going to do is just on each leaf tip, just put a little bit of brown. I think because we've got our maple coming up later, which is over here, you can't actually see it very well in this shot, that's going to be yellowy red anyway. We've got a sort of autumnal thing going on, so I think these sorts of colours might make it look a bit more autumnal. It's obviously not autumn, though it is in Australia, so I know Kylie might be watching. Hi Kylie, you might be, you'll certainly get your autumnal colour there. So, you know, it's autumn somewhere. Okay, now we're going to go to this one and just do the same thing. So, there. But some leaves have this sort of reddish colour on the tips all the time. I noticed that some roses do that. And this obviously isn't a rose, but sometimes they have a bit of colour. Even in the stems there's a bit of red. And I was trying to go for more of a brown. But, yeah. What is that line there? And there. Is that line just the centre of the leaf? I think it might be. Hang on, let's go back to the green, the leaf green deep. I think this leaf is actually that big. And this one continues, that go there. I think that one goes in there. There we go. Yeah, I don't think we need any more brown on that one. So there are those two. Now, I'm just looking, excuse me. This leaf here looks very different to all the rest, so we can do that in its own colour. Yeah. I want something a little bit darker, I'm thinking. I don't want to go too bluey green though, so I'm thinking maybe the hooker's green. Where are you, hooker's green? Is that you there? There it is. I'm going to use the hooker's green. If it goes a little bit too bluey, I'll but I don't think this one is. So this centre part I'm trying to do quite lightly, and this turned over a bit. And then I'm going to go a little darker. So along this centre I actually want to go quite dark. So I want to make it look like that vein is actually standing out a bit. And then I will just fade it towards the tip like we did last time. How are we doing for time? 10 to 11. Goodness me, time's getting on today. Like that. I'm trying to decide whether to go out. It's raining, it's been raining so hard. I think it's supposed to rain all day. So, I don't know. But I didn't go out yesterday. So I ought to go out. I've got a letter to post and some books to drop off at a charity shop. So I don't know if you get charity shops in all countries. In what happens in the UK, for those of you not in the UK, is that certain charities might rent a shop unit and then they ask for people to donate things for them to sell. They obviously sort through them, and some shops don't put the things that have been donated locally in their local shop. They'll put them in a different shop in a different town. And yeah, so you donate things and then they all sell them and the money goes to charity. You usually have volunteers working in the shop. And we've got quite a lot of these in our town. I think they're quite a growing thing because a lot of people buy online these days, clothes and all sorts of things online. So, but second-hand charity items you can't buy online. You can buy second-hand goods, of course, online, but not charity shop items, and they're usually cheaper because, of course, they've paid nothing for them, and their overheads are quite low because they get their rent. The rent is usually lower. So anyway, I've got some things which we don't want anymore, which I'm going to donate. And it's a big pile of books actually from my son's bedroom. He was having a bit of a sort out. He used to like Lee Child books, but he said he only reads them once and he's not really into reading them anymore anyway, because he says once you know what happens you don't want to read them again. Which is interesting because he rereads certain books over and over even though he knows what happens. But anyway, oh, there's a bit in there, look. I think there, leaf green deep. So anyway, he's oh, and this one there, isn't it? So he's got loads because he used to ask them for them for his birthday, and he had lots second hand and all sorts of things because he had all of them up until most recent, you know. So all of those go to charity shop. And I've got a few other things of mine that I need to take. Or a few things that I found, like some chemistry revision cards, which I don't think we need anymore. Now there might be some shadow, if you think, underneath some of these overlapping parts. I'm going to do that now. I think we used the black. Did we use the black? No, we've used various colours for shadow. I think maybe the Mars black might work. Whoops, trying to get it out though. Here we go. So, behind here, let's start here. A bit here and here. What putting in the shadow does is it helps the page to look less flat. It helps you to be able to see what's in front and what's behind a little more easily, and just gives it all a slightly more three-dimensional look. So basically we're just going under the lines that have already been drawn. And putting in these shadow lines. And even like here where the leaves are overlapping here. Now I like using, if I'm using my polychromos, I'd use the dark sepia for this. I'm going to emphasise this too. But some people have their favourite colours for using for shadowing. So it just depends what you like. I try and use something that works for the colours that I've been using as well. There we go, there is that one. Yeah, I think we've done about half an hour, haven't we? I think that's probably enough for today. I try not to do too much in one video, make it too overwhelming. So we've done, let's have a look at what we've done. We've done our chanterelle, we've done some greenery, so that's rather nice. Let's try and straighten that up, there we go. So if all sorts of noise downstairs. My fridge is making noises. So we've got our smaller mushrooms to do, which we'll be doing in tomorrow's video, and then some more of the greenery. So we'll see how we get on really. I don't think we'll finish it. I think this will probably be a four-parter, but we'll see how it goes. I am just going to, where's my brush? There, brush that. There we go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.